Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Tom Sorry from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be having is regarding in the sport of boxing. If you guys haven't checked out episode 84, is now available on our Instagram account and our Apple Podcast account. So if you guys haven't checked out our latest episode, go ahead and watch it or listen to it following those two social media platforms. But today, the bonus content I have for you guys in this segment, I will be sharing my thoughts on a potential fight between Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. and Keith "One-Time" Thurman that could be potentially taking place in the springtime of this calendar year. So throughout the week, ESPN Ringside and other sources have confirmed that there is a fight that is potentially being finalized for a fight at 154 pounds that between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman that could potentially take place in spring of 2023 in the month of April. It seems like it's going to be a hot time for that in the sport of boxing. Come springtime, we could see Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. We could see a undisputed heavyweight championship fight between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. And we could also see an undisputed lightweight championship fight between Devin the Dream Haney and Lomachenko. So it seems like the world of boxing is going to be heating up quite a bit come springtime. But this is another fight that it could be confirmed for the month of April between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman. Now, obviously, this isn't the fight that a lot of people and boxing fans don't want to see right now. The fight that we want to see Errol Spence Jr. in next, and the same goes with Terrence Bud Crawford, is a fight between each other. There really isn't much for both fighters to do at this particular moment than fight each other and their respective careers. And it makes sense for both of their careers when you talk about championships and legacies that's at stake. But we're on pause. We come to a halt as well. Just like when Terrence Bud Crawford fought David Benavidez, a guy that nobody heard of last month in December. Now we're getting Errol Spence Jr. fighting somebody that's not Terrence Bud Crawford, which could potentially be Keith Thurman. And I'm not mad about it. I like this fight. I think this is a fight that has been brewing years in the making. That I will touch up on just a tad bit in a few moments. But this is a fight that has been years in the making. And if this fight happens, this wouldn't be a bad fight for Keith Thurman. For Errol Spence Jr.'s resume, especially if he can knock off Keith Thurman. So I'm not gonna be mad if this fight happens, but WBA President Gilberto Mendoza has granted Errol Spence Jr. permission to fight outside of the welterweight division without relinquishing his WBA title. If you guys don't know, at the 147 pound division, the welterweight division in boxing, Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. currently right now is the undisputed champion in that division. He currently holds three out of 4 important championships in that division. Terrence Crawford holding the other fight. But he has been granted permission to fight outside of 147 pounds and fight at 154 pound division. I find this funny of the history between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman has wanted this fight for years, and same goes with Errol Spence. But Errol Spence has said several occasions that he will never fight Keith Thurman for championships on the line. One of the reasons why this fight could be happening 154 pounds is because Errol Spence doesn't have any belts at 154 pounds, all at 147. And you might be sticking to his word that he said he will never give Keith Thurman a championship opportunity. But the fight to me only makes sense. As good as the fight sounds on paper, it really only makes sense to me for these guys to fight at 147 pounds, because what is really the point of fighting at 154 pounds? There's no championships on the line. Neither one of those guys hold a championship at 154 pounds. You fight each other in the welterweight division at 147 pounds. There's 3 championships on the line that Errol Spence Jr. Rightfully holds. And if we're being technically honest, Keith Thurman is a WBC mandate for one of Errol Spence championships right now. So I don't see the reason why this fight would happen at 154 pounds. It should be happening at 147 pounds. That just makes sense to me. But it's going to be interesting to see if Errol Spence Jr. is going to stick with this at 154 pounds. Is this just a one-time fight at 154 pounds? Is this just a way of being petty to Keith Thurman over the years of their beef, and him keeping his word, saying he would never give him a championship fight or a championship opportunity? Is this the case, or is Errol Spence truly considering staying put at 154 pounds at this point of his career? Is he ready to write a new chapter in his career at a new division? He's made a name for himself at the welterweight division. He has had, his resume is top notch at the welterweight division. There's hands down in that division, he has the best resume on paper, including Terrence Bud Crawford's resume in that respective division. Errol Spence has the best resume under any big time fighter in that division right now. But if this fight happens in April between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman at 154 pounds, if this fight happens, Errol Spence Jr. now has 60 days to negotiate a fight with Terrence Bud Crawford. That would be an undisputed championship fight, like I said a few moments ago. He has the opportunity to do that at 147 pounds. Or he has to fight one of his mandates, Virgil Ortiz, who is a top-notch guy at the welterweight division. Right now, in my opinion, he's the third, maybe fourth best fighter in that loaded division. So Errol Spence Jr. has some things to clear up with the world and the community of boxing moving forward, because he has these two big fights lined up as soon as that fight is over with. He has to handle business at the welterweight division if he's going to stay put. Meanwhile, he basically has a third mandate in Jerron Boots Ennis, who became the IBF interim world champion, fighting in the co-main event on the Gervonta Davis Hector Luis Garcia pay-per-view last weekend. So technically he has three mandates to answer at the welterweight division. If this fight happens in a matter of 60 days, he's got to sign a contract with either Terrence Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, or he's got to answer to Jerron Boots Ennis. So he has a lot of mandates, a lot of hungry guys that's waiting to fight him at the welterweight division. So my thoughts, if Errol the Truth Spence Jr. truly moves up to 154 pounds, I think it's a bad. I think for his sake it might be good, because in the world of boxing, I will give boxers a pass for that. It is hard for certain boxers to make certain weight classes. Example of that, we're seeing undisputed champion in Devin the Dream Haney currently at 135 pounds, but is struggling to make that weight. It's only a matter of time before he moves up to 140 pounds and relinquishes all those championships, because it's hard for him to make weight. Maybe it's the same thing with Errol Spence Jr. It's hard for him to make weight at 147 pounds, and he wants to be more comfortable fighting at 154 pounds in a new division. But if that's not the case and he just wants to move up, I think this is a letdown, because I just named, he has so much time, he has so many incomplete fights that has not taken place yet at the welterweight division. Yes, he has made his mark in that division. He's the unified champion as we speak today, but a fight with Terrence Bud Crawford for a chance to become an undisputed champion at 147, that's right there. You only need to fight him and win one more championship. Virgil Ortiz, that's another big fight at the welterweight division. And then up-and-coming rising star in Jerron Boots Ennis. I think that's incomplete if you don't fight at least 2 out of 3 of those guys and you decide to move up to 154 pounds. So I think to me it'd be a letdown. I think there's more hungry competition. The welterweight division is definitely more stacked and has more of a variety of top-notch fighters than the 154-pound division. So I think this would be a letdown if Errol Spence does move up to 154 pounds without fighting at least 2 out of 3 of those guys I just named. It'd definitely be a letdown. But 2 fights I think would be very interesting if he stays on 154 pounds after this Keith Thurman fight. Sebastian Forna, that would be an exciting fight at 154 pounds. The sensational nearly 7-foot boxer. I think that would be one heck of a test for Errol the Truth Spence Jr. at 154 pounds, or a dream undisputed championship fight with his boy Jermell Charlo. By the way, Jermell Charlo is one of the 1 out of 12 losses that Errol the Truth Spence Jr. was handed to in his amateur days when he was fighting in the amateurs. Jermell Charlo beat Errol the Truth Spence Jr. in the amateurs. Now, amateurs is what really doesn't mean anything now that they're both top-notch guys, boxing stars. But something to think about if they do meet up in the ring with each other for an undisputed championship fight. Or he could potentially fight Terrence Bud Crawford at 154 pounds. I just stated that it kind of would be, I mean, it's a big fight. Yes, it's a big fight and it's a dream fight, but it would be kind of a letdown if there's no championships at stake, no undisputed championship on the line if these guys fight at 154 pounds. Now, I've stated no matter what weight class Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford fight at, they got to get this fight done now in the calendar year 2023. Before the year ends, they got to fight each other. Because if they don't, I've stated on the podcast months ago that if they meet in later in 2024 or beyond in the ring, it's going to be a letdown of how Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao met each other in the ring in 2015 when both of those guys were on the last legs of their respective careers. I think it'll be a letdown if that fight doesn't happen in the calendar year 2023. But that is all the thoughts I have on this potential fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman. And hopefully they get it done. It'll be a big fight in boxing. Give us another big fight to look forward to this year. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.